Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We got a nice continuation to the upside in the previous session. This is a nice 3-day move from those lows on Thursday. We continue to approach the FOMC key level from January 31st. That's that 28.29 quarter level right there. That's the FOMC level from January 31st. It took it offered, dropped down here, bounced back up, rejected those lows, and has been slowly walking its way toward that target. Other markets have already reached their target, like the NQ, and have surpassed it, but the ES still making its way up. So again, as I mentioned before, the flow is still to the upside, and right now we've gotten through this 2750 level, which had been resistance. Any pullback into that zone could still provide a buying opportunity for a continuation. So while we could see a counter trend move into the previous session's midpoint throughout the morning or early part of the day, the overall bias is still to the upside, so any pullback still likely to be defended in this case until proven otherwise. So that's the idea right now with the ES. If we take a look at the NQ, you can see right here we've also seen a very solid continuation back up, and we just reached the FOMC key level from January 31st yesterday right there. And this is exactly what we mentioned before, that this has been a bullish market. We've been holding above the mid. Pullback still likely a buying opportunity as we continue higher to capture that target. We got there, and we could still see a move to the outer edge as well. So we could be looking at a continuation into that 70.47 quarter. And again, while a short-term pullback may be seen toward the previous session's midpoint, overall any pullback is still going to be seen as a buying opportunity. So more upside ahead for the NQ as well. Now with regards to crude oil, this one looks very similar to the ES and the NQ. This one has had a very nice continuation back up and is almost gotten to that FOMC key level from January 31st. 64.38 is that level. The previous session we got to 64.24. So we got very, very close, within 14 ticks of that target yesterday. We've pulled back here this morning, but again, very similar to the ES and NQ. This thing has been trending up. Any pullback is still likely to be seen as a buying opportunity, and we could not only claim that upside target here sometime today, but we could see a continuation back toward recent highs of 66.29 over the course of the next several days. So again, the short-term key level to watch is 63 right now. That's the level where the stops came out after being support. It came back to that level, pushed above it, made it support yesterday, and is holding above it. So failure to hold this level could rotate back down. But right now, the flow appears to be to the upside and perhaps to the next upside target of 66.29. Looking at gold. Now, gold is doing something very similar to what it did the previous week, where it appeared like it was going to be a fantastic failed new high and we were going to see a quick move downward. And instead we closed the day basically right at the breakout point right near the mid. And that's basically what happened here as well. It looked like a really good failed new high that was going to lead to new lows, and instead price closed right at the mid. The next day started to take off here over the course of the next few days. Right now we're right at the center of this larger trading range. That's 1365. This is 1309, and right now the midpoint somewhere around this zone right here, 1338s, and we're just chopping around the center of that range. It's very difficult to gain an edge here. Out here offers the better edge. At some point we know we're likely coming here, or perhaps even back up here, and that would provide a better fade opportunity back toward the mid. Right now we're chopping around this zone. It makes it more difficult. However, the flow is still to the downside. After the recent rejection here, we're still flowing to the downside until we reach an edge. And so this behavior, while not as bearish as it could be, still appears like it has some downside to go. So any failure to hold this 1330.3 opens up 1317 and a shot to retrade those lows. Alright, let's take a look at XBT. There we go. Now this one has had a nice little bounce off the lows here. You can see this level right there is 9K. That's 9K. I mentioned before that dropping into that zone is likely going to be defended for a return to 12K. 12K being the upper end of this area. And what you can see that's developing here is that inverted head and shoulder pattern, and that's going to provide a potential bias to the upside back toward 1590 to 16,580. However, at this time, you've got to let this thing continue to develop, and it's got to be able to get that confirmation through 12,000. Right now, bulls, the earliest bulls are defending this edge of the range, and there could be multiple rotations. But if there's any failure to get through 12K, at some point those stops will come out, and you'll start to see this thing drop through and auction lower to retrade those lows. So right now we know what is happening. Bulls are defending 9K. We know bears are defending 12, and we're going to have two-way trade here before we see the next move. So keep an eye on this range in Bitcoin. All right, really quickly here in terms of some PivotBoss news. If you go to pivotbossmasters.com, you can click on special offer here. It's going to bring up a special offer page, pivotbossmasters.com/profits. Got a special offer right now for Pivot Boss Masters. You can read through the offer here. A lot of great value being offered here. And also, if you join Pivot Boss Masters, you're going to get the 3-part course Swing Trade Pro absolutely free. That's $395 value. In addition to 1 month of our premium trading room for $99 value, and access to the 5-day live training sessions that we're going to host next week. If you scroll down, you can see the upcoming live training schedule. We have these 5 days here where we're going to have at 6 p.m. we're going to host different topics here, and we're going to have that training live. And if you are a part of Masters, this is absolutely included free as part of your membership as ongoing training. So that is absolutely free for you. And if you are joining Masters, then you have access to this as well. You can read more about that training here. So if you want a rundown of the special offer and also what you'll see at Masters, you can get it here. And I will be hosting an open house for Masters so you can learn more about it, ask your questions. I'll be tweeting that link out here pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.